There is a mystery many people overlook in their pursuit of greatness, and that mystery is silence. Not the silence of weakness, not the silence of fear, but the silence of understanding, the kind of silence that comes from depth. The kind of silence that is born when a man has seen enough, learned enough, and trusted enough to stop making noise. Most people talk too much because they are trying to prove something. They announce their plans, defend their process, explain their delays, and justify their pain. But destiny does not respond to noise. Life does not reward explanation. Growth happens quietly and greatness matures in silence. There are seasons where speaking is permitted, and there are seasons where silence is required. When you speak before time, you abort processes. When you explain what God is still shaping, you expose it to misunderstanding, envy, and unnecessary warfare. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is alignment. Understand this, not everything that is meant to manifest needs to be announced. Seeds do not make noise underground, yet they break the ground when the time is right. The loudest part of a seed's journey is not its planting, but its emergence. If you want results that speak, learn to stay silent while you grow. Many people lose destiny helpers because they speak too early. They talk from excitement instead of discernment. They share vision with people who do not have capacity. And when opposition comes, they start talking against them, complaining, explaining, defending. Silence would have preserved their strength. There is a kind of silence that attracts favor. When you stop fighting for validation, life starts validating you. When you stop announcing your struggles, solutions begin to find you. When you stop explaining yourself, results begin to explain you. Silence disciplines the soul. It teaches patience. It trains the heart to trust process. It builds inner authority. A man who is always talking is still looking for approval. A man who is silent has found assurance. Not every battle requires your voice. Some battles require your composure. Some seasons require you to keep working while everyone thinks you have stopped. Let them think what they want. Silence is not absence of progress. It is often evidence of focus. When you stay silent, you hear better. You perceive direction, you recognize timing, noise distracts, but silence sharpens. Many people miss divine instructions because they are too busy talking about their problems instead of listening for solutions. Everything that is genuine arrives naturally when the foundation is correct. You don't need to force doors that are meant to open. You don't need to beg for relevance that is prepared for you. When your preparation is complete, your manifestation will be undeniable. Stay silent while your character is forming. Stay silent while your capacity is increasing. Stay silent while wisdom is building within you. Then, when the time comes, you won't need to speak much. Your life will speak for you. Silence today is the language of authority tomorrow. And when everything finally comes, it will not come because you shouted, explained, or struggled to be seen. It will come naturally because you waited, you grew, and you understood the power of silence. Silence is one of the most misunderstood virtues in life. Many people see it as a sign of weakness, as though a person who does not speak constantly, who does not defend themselves at every point, or who does not explain every thought, is somehow lacking in courage or power. But silence is not weakness. Silence is strength. Silence is a form of discipline. It is a deliberate choice, a conscious decision to restrain the impulse to react, to argue, or to justify oneself prematurely. Silence is a recognition that not every thought needs to be spoken, not every opinion needs to be shared, and not every moment requires validation from the world. The person who has learned the art of silence has learned a profound truth about life, that there is a time for words and there is a time for stillness, and the latter is often far more powerful than the former. In a world that celebrates noise, the one who chooses silence is often seen as passive or inactive, but this is a grave misunderstanding. Silence is the soil where greatness grows. Just as a seed must be buried in the earth, hidden from the eyes of the world, so too must a person sometimes withdraw from the noise and chatter of life to allow their potential to mature. In silence there is reflection, there is preparation, and there is unseen development. The loudest announcements in life do not guarantee growth or progress. Often, those who speak too much about their plans, their visions, or their dreams are exposed to unnecessary opposition, criticism, and distraction. But those who remain silent, who focus on building their character, honing their skills, and preparing for the right moment, are cultivating a strength that will not be shaken by circumstance or circumstance. The soil of silence is rich with opportunity. When you are silent, you are listening, you are observing, you are perceiving patterns that others cannot see because they are too busy talking, too busy proving, too busy defending themselves. Silence sharpens the mind, clarifies the heart, and trains the spirit. In silence, you can hear what the world does not say. In silence, you can feel the movement of divine timing, the rhythm of events that are being orchestrated on your behalf. Those who understand this principle know that not everything that must manifest needs to be announced in advance. Just as a farmer plants seeds without shouting to the world, so too does the person who is silent allow their preparation to work quietly, steadily, and with perfect timing. Many people fail to realize that silence requires courage. It is easy to speak, to complain, to argue, and to seek validation. It takes strength to remain still, to resist the urge to defend oneself, and to trust that time will bring clarity and resolution. Silence is an act of faith. It is an acknowledgement that you do not need to control every outcome, that not every misunderstanding requires your explanation, and that the universe often works best when it is allowed to work quietly. Those who embrace silence develop an inner authority that cannot be shaken. They carry a power that speaks louder than words, a presence that commands respect without demanding it. The soil of silence is also the foundation of wisdom. Knowledge is refined in the quiet moments when the mind is not distracted by the noise of the world. Experience is processed in stillness, allowing lessons to sink deeply into the heart and become part of the character. People who are constantly talking may appear knowledgeable, but those who are silent often carry the deepest understanding. Silence allows you to see people clearly, to understand motives, and to discern truths that remain hidden to those who only speak and react. In a society that prizes immediate responses and constant communication, silence is a revolutionary act. It is a statement that you are not beholden to the opinions of others, that you are secure in your journey, and that you trust the process more than the applause of the crowd. Silence also protects your energy. Words have weight, and once spoken, they cannot be taken back. Too often, people lose opportunities, relationships, or influence because they spoke too soon, said too much, or revealed more than they should have. Silence safeguards your potential. It ensures that your actions, when they finally speak, carry the full weight of intention and purpose. A person who has learned the discipline of silence is like a reservoir filled with water. Their value is not in the constant flow of talk, but in the powerful release when the time is right. Their words, when spoken, are measured, impactful, and transformative because they emerge from a place of deep thought and preparation. Greatness cannot grow in a vacuum of noise. It requires patience, focus, and careful nurturing. Just as a tree must weather storms, survive droughts, and endure seasons of dormancy before it bears fruit, so too must a person often endure periods of quiet preparation before achieving their full potential. Silence is the environment in which resilience is built. It teaches endurance, trains the spirit to remain steady under pressure, and develops the humility to wait for the proper season. Those who cannot tolerate silence often seek instant gratification, make impulsive decisions, and become entangled in distractions that derail their growth. The person who remains silent, however, trusts that their time will come and that their efforts, though unseen, are building a foundation for lasting impact. In silence, relationships are strengthened not by words but by presence. In silence, ideas are matured not by debate but by reflection. In silence, character is formed not by recognition but by trials. Those who cultivate silence understand that life rewards preparation, patience, and perseverance. They understand that the world may not acknowledge their work immediately, but that every quiet effort contributes to the eventual manifestation of greatness. Silence allows for introspection, self-correction, and alignment with one's purpose. It fosters clarity in decision-making and ensures that when action is taken, it is deliberate, precise, and effective. The world is full of noise, voices competing for attention, opinions clamoring for validation, and distractions pulling people in every direction. In this environment, silence is a strategic choice. It is an act of wisdom, a method of empowerment, and a path to lasting influence. When you remain silent while preparing, while learning, while growing, you place yourself in a position of advantage. You allow time to work on your behalf. You let divine timing orchestrate events, and you ensure that when your moment arrives, it will be undeniable. Silence is not passivity. It is not inaction. It is not defeat. Silence is a proactive force, a deliberate cultivation of strength, wisdom, and preparedness. Those who misunderstand silence often equate it with fear or indecision, but the person who understands knows that silence is an investment. It is an investment in character, in skill, in insight, and in destiny. Every quiet hour spent learning, observing, and reflecting is a seed planted in the soil of potential. Every restrained word, every unspoken argument, every withheld complaint is nourishment for the greatness that is being cultivated within. Just as a farmer does not rush the growth of crops by shouting at them or demanding results, the person who embraces silence trusts the process, knowing that the harvest will come in its proper season. Silence is a language of power. It communicates confidence without arrogance, strength without aggression, and presence without demand. It allows you to conserve your energy, refine your understanding, and position yourself for influence. The soil of silence produces fruits that are durable, meaningful, and impactful. It develops leaders who act with discernment, thinkers who strategize with clarity, and visionaries who bring transformation without unnecessary explanation. Silence is the foundation upon which greatness is built, the environment in which potential matures, and the discipline that prepares a person to handle the weight of destiny with wisdom and grace. In a world that celebrates talkers and applauds those who make noise, there is a truth that is often overlooked. Results speak louder than words. Many people exhaust their energy explaining their plans, defending their actions, and advertising their intentions, thinking that visibility is the same as progress. But true progress, true influence, and true impact are not measured by how loudly you speak or how often you are heard. They are measured by the results that emerge from your effort, discipline, and dedication. To speak less and work more is to recognize that the value of a person is not in their declarations but in their accomplishments. This principle is simple yet profound. It demands restraint, patience, and a focus on what actually produces transformation rather than what merely attracts attention. Work is the language of action. Words are often empty unless they are accompanied by deeds. Many people desire recognition, but few are willing to labor in silence for the sake of outcomes. Speaking constantly about what you intend to do is a form of premature exposure. It is like planting a seed in the wind where everyone can see it before it has roots. Exposure before maturity invites criticism, doubt, and interference. By contrast, those who choose to work quietly, to focus on execution rather than announcement, allow the work itself to develop its own authority. Every task completed, every challenge overcome, and every objective achieved becomes a testament to capability that requires no explanation. The results become your voice, louder than any argument or justification could ever be. There is power in restraint. To speak less is to control your energy. Every word you release carries weight, whether you recognize it or not. Words can inspire, but they can also distract, mislead, or create opposition. When a person speaks less, They are able to conserve mental, emotional, and spiritual energy for the work that matters. Their focus is not on proving themselves to others, but on proving themselves through results. Speaking less is also an act of humility, an acknowledgement that success does not require constant validation. It is an understanding that the world will notice achievement more than ambition, and that those who chase recognition often find themselves chasing it endlessly without ever attaining substance. Work more. This is the foundation of progress. Effort is the soil in which results are cultivated. The person who labors diligently, consistently, and with intention develops skills, capacity, and endurance that cannot be obtained through words alone. Work is the testing ground of character. It is where persistence meets challenge, where patience is forged, and where excellence is refined. People who work more than they speak understand that mastery requires time, repetition, and focused effort. They recognize that every small task, when executed with care, contributes to a larger vision. The more one works in silence, the more one accumulates experience and insight that ultimately produce results that speak for themselves. Results announce you. There is a natural authority that emerges when outcomes are undeniable. People do not need constant explanation when achievement is visible. Results communicate competence, reliability, and influence without argument. Those who understand this principle allow their lives to become a testimony of effort, integrity, and excellence. Instead of chasing recognition, they allow the work to define them. Instead of seeking validation from people, they seek improvement through action. In doing so, they develop a presence that commands respect and attention, not because they demand it, but because they have earned it through consistent execution and visible impact. Many people sabotage themselves by talking too much about what they intend to achieve. They announce projects, goals, or dreams before they have the foundation to support them. This often invites doubt, discouragement, and even interference from those who do not share the same vision or capacity. By contrast, those who focus on work rather than words cultivate a credibility that is unshakable. When results finally manifest, they leave observers with no choice but to acknowledge the effort, dedication, and skill that produced them. The distinction is profound. One speaks to impress, the other works to impact. One relies on perception, the other relies on reality. Work in silence also cultivates discipline. Discipline is not developed through declaration. It is forged in the repeated acts of doing what must be done, even when no one is watching. Those who work diligently understand that every effort, no matter how small, contributes to the eventual outcome. Discipline enables a person to persist through discouragement, to maintain focus in the face of distraction, and to continue moving forward even when immediate results are not visible. This consistency, maintained over time, produces results that are undeniable and transformative. The practice of speaking less and working more is not a strategy of hiding or avoidance. It is a strategy of wisdom. It is a deliberate choice to prioritize action over appearance, substance over show, and results over recognition. In silence, a person can observe the environment, discern opportunities, and plan with clarity. They avoid unnecessary conflict, conserve energy, and prepare themselves for challenges that require focus and precision. Silence and action together produce a combination that is far more effective than noise and intent alone. The world may celebrate talkers, but it respects achievers. Every result carries its own message. A completed project, a solved problem, a tangible achievement communicates competence, credibility, and authority without the need for words. The person who works more than they speak is recognized not for their announcements, but for their performance. This recognition is lasting because it is based on reality, not perception. People respect those who produce results because results are proof, and proof cannot be disputed. The more a person focuses on work and the less on explanation, the more powerful their influence becomes. Results become a language that transcends opinion, criticism, and misunderstanding. Moreover, working more than speaking develops resilience. In silence, a person is shielded from unnecessary opposition, discouragement, and interference. They can endure the difficult periods of preparation without distraction. Every challenge encountered during this period becomes a lesson, every obstacle an opportunity to strengthen character. The person who speaks less and works more is not distracted by comparison, envy, or judgment. They are focused on their own growth, trusting that when the work is complete, the results will communicate the value and purpose of their effort. In essence, this principle is a call to focus on what truly matters. The energy spent explaining, defending, or advertising your plans can often be better invested in action. There is a natural progression to life. Preparation leads to execution, execution leads to results, and results create influence. By speaking less and working more, a person aligns themselves with this natural flow. They allow their life to become a living testament to effort, skill, and perseverance. They understand that influence is earned, not claimed, and that impact is demonstrated, not announced. This is a principle that transcends circumstance. Whether in career, personal development, or spiritual growth, the value of results over words remains consistent. The person who works more than they speak builds a reputation for reliability, excellence, and authority. The person who focuses on outcomes rather than opinions develops a life that communicates their worth without effort. Results carry weight, and weight commands respect. In a world filled with noise, the quiet achiever stands out because their work speaks for itself. To speak less, work more, and let results announce you is not merely a strategy for success. It is a lifestyle. It is a way of thinking, a way of prioritizing, and a way of interacting with the world. It is the cultivation of patience, discipline, and focus. It is the understanding that true recognition is earned through visible accomplishment rather than verbal assertion. Those who adopt this principle learn that the most powerful statements are often made without words, that influence is most profound when it emerges naturally, and that the legacy of a person is measured by results, not rhetoric. Patience is one of the most misunderstood qualities in life. Many people think that progress requires constant action, constant speaking, or constant pushing. They believe that if something does not happen immediately, it is a sign of failure. But patience is not inactivity. Patience is not resignation. Patience is a deliberate alignment with the timing of life, the rhythms of growth, and the processes that cannot be rushed. Patience in silence is a discipline of the soul, a training of the heart, and a cultivation of wisdom that positions a person for success far greater than they could achieve by force or haste. Those who understand this principle recognize that life has a perfect timing, a divine order, and that trying to accelerate destiny often leads to unnecessary struggle, frustration, and missed opportunities. Silence and patience work together as a powerful force. Silence allows the mind to rest, the heart to reflect, and the spirit to discern. In the quiet moments, clarity emerges. In the absence of noise, understanding develops. Patience in silence enables a person to observe without being distracted, to wait without despair, and to trust without demanding. It is in these moments that insight is cultivated, strategies are refined, and purpose is aligned. Many people rush through life speaking too much, acting impulsively, and seeking immediate gratification, and in doing so, they lose the power of natural manifestation. They fail to recognize that some blessings, opportunities, and results require a season to mature, and that the timing of life is often more important than the speed of action. Natural manifestation is the outcome of preparation, patience, and alignment. When a person waits in silence, they allow the processes of growth to take place beneath the surface, out of sight, but never wasted. Like seeds buried in the earth, what is hidden is developing roots, gathering strength, and preparing to rise. Manifestation that comes naturally is lasting, undeniable, and impactful because it is grounded in timing, not force. Those who try to force results often produce outcomes that are superficial, temporary, or fraught with complications. The person who exercises patience in silence understands that every delay is not denial, every wait is not waste, and every season of quiet is an opportunity for unseen growth. Many people struggle with impatience because they measure success by immediate results. They fail to recognize that the divine order of life operates on principles that are not always visible, that processes must unfold fully, and that maturity cannot be rushed. Patience in silence allows a person to respect these principles, to work diligently without distraction, and to trust that the culmination of effort will arrive when conditions are perfectly aligned. It is a trust that is not passive but active, a waiting that is intentional, a stillness that is filled with preparation. The one who exercises this discipline does not complain about delays, does not argue against obstacles, and does not manipulate circumstances to produce hasty results. Instead, they cultivate readiness, resilience, and strength, knowing that the timing of life is as important as the effort invested. Silence is a protective measure. Many blessings are delayed because they are exposed too early to interference. When a person reveals their plans, ideas, or struggles prematurely, they invite criticism, doubt, and opposition that can derail progress. Silence shields what is being formed, nurtures what is being developed, and preserves the integrity of what is intended to manifest. Patience in silence is an understanding that some things must remain hidden until they are fully ready. It is an acknowledgement that the world does not always appreciate process, that people may not understand preparation, and that the voice of results is far more persuasive than the voice of explanation. The combination of patience and silence is transformative. It trains the mind to resist impulsivity, the heart to overcome frustration, and the spirit to trust in the unseen. Those who cultivate this quality develop endurance, fortitude, and discernment. They are able to distinguish between what requires immediate attention and what requires time, between what must be acted upon and what must be allowed to unfold. This discernment is a key to natural manifestation. Many people act hastily, make decisions in ignorance, and disrupt processes that could have produced abundant results if they had waited. Patience in silence ensures that actions are deliberate, timing is precise, and outcomes are aligned with purpose. Divine timing is not coincidental. It is the result of alignment with principles that govern growth, progress, and manifestation. Impatience often leads to misalignment, forcing events to occur before the conditions are right. But patience in silence allows a person to position themselves in harmony with these principles. It enables a person to recognize opportunity when it appears, to act with wisdom when action is required, and to receive results that are not only beneficial but sustainable. The one who waits does not wait in futility. They wait in strategy, in readiness, and in faith that the right time will produce the right outcome. Silence also deepens perception. In quiet moments, a person observes patterns that others miss, discerns timing that others ignore, and recognizes the value of preparation that others underestimate. Patience in silence produces insight that is unavailable to those who are always reacting, always talking, and always seeking immediate results. The one who is silent can anticipate challenges, identify opportunities, and act in ways that maximize the impact of their effort. Manifestation, when it comes naturally, is often a result of this heightened awareness, this ability to perceive the rhythm of life, and this capacity to align action with timing. Many people fail to understand that patience is not just waiting, it is actively preparing. To be patient in silence is to work diligently behind the scenes, to strengthen character, to hone skill, to deepen understanding, and to cultivate resilience. Every quiet hour invested in growth is a seed that contributes to eventual manifestation. Those who are impatient often miss the full benefits of their preparation because they rush the process, interrupt the timing, or act prematurely. Patience in silence ensures that effort is maximized, progress is sustained, and the eventual outcome is both powerful and complete. Natural manifestation is a reward of consistency and discipline. It is not a coincidence, luck, or accident. It is the fruit of deliberate preparation, intentional action, and alignment with timing that cannot be forced. When a person practices patience in silence, they allow the universe, life, or divine principles to orchestrate events in a way that produces outcomes beyond what could have been achieved through force or noise. The results emerge with clarity, impact, and authority. They require no embellishment, no explanation, and no validation from others. Manifestation in its purest form speaks for itself. Silence also cultivates humility. The patient person does not demand recognition, does not seek validation, and does not need immediate feedback. They understand that the journey is more important than the applause, that growth precedes reward, and that manifestation follows preparation. Patience in silence teaches endurance, cultivates strength, and produces a life that commands respect not because of words, but because of proven outcomes. The one who masters this principle understands that the timing of life is not a barrier but a guide, not a limitation but a framework for achieving the greatest possible impact. Those who practice patience in silence develop a spiritual awareness that others often overlook. They recognize that delays are not denials, that waiting periods are not punishment, and that the unseen processes of life are often more powerful than what is immediately visible. Every period of waiting, every moment of quiet, and every season of preparation contributes to eventual manifestation. The one who endures patiently is rewarded with outcomes that are perfect in timing, abundant in impact, and aligned with purpose. Patience in silence is a discipline of trust, a commitment to preparation, and an acknowledgement that life unfolds according to principles that require understanding, respect, and alignment.